Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am sharing a quick oil pastel time-lapse and review using Pentel Arts oil pastels and Canson Mitons paper. I usually start with a super fast sketch of my image. I just scribble the main elements of the scene using a pencil. Then I take the pastel and very crudely I start to block in the main colors of the image. I feel like this step for me is quite similar to making an underpainting. It just helps establish your light source and your values. And I think with pastels in particular, it's important to get certain brighter or lighter colors blocked in early on so that they don't get muddied or blended when the rest of the darker colors come in. Granted, this will also depend a lot on the quality of pastels that you're using. I found that with this pastel set in particular, that the opaqueness of the pigments are not the same across the board, and they don't layer on top of each other as easily compared to higher grade pastels. But I do think that this set is a good starter set for those who are interested in trying out this medium for the first time. For one, it's super affordable, and you can get this 50 count set on Amazon for around $10, and the color variety is great. And I do think that if you are afraid of spending a lot of money on something that you're not sure if you would like, I really do think that this set is the one for you. I will say that one thing that I don't appreciate as much about this set is that I mentioned earlier the blendability and opacity of the pigments. And you can kind of see that as I work through this image, it really takes some effort to get the colors to blend well together. I think the consistency of these pastels are also not as creamy or buttery, so that's why you can really see me pressing through the paper with pressure just to get that opacity that I'm trying to achieve. I found that the best technique with this set in particular is to just use the pastels themselves to blend through the layers. As you can see, I'm not using any tortillons or cotton swabs or tissue paper. I may occasionally rub with my fingers, but I find that because these pastels have a harder consistency, your best bet really is to blend using a white or a gray pastel and just pack on the layers. Personally, I like the look and feel of this technique, but I'm just really not a big fan of overworking the layers just to get it to look right. So once I get the colors and shapes blocked out, I move on to the shadows and I start to add depth and detail to the image. I like to keep my clouds fairly loose. I just kind of go with the flow, and I don't really try to think too much about the shape of them as much as I try to think about conveying the movement of the clouds, if that makes any sense. I feel like sometimes the more you make a cloud look realistic, the more it feels unnatural, unless you're super duper good with realism. I just kind of feel like sometimes it falls flat and weird looking, in my opinion. I also like to use different tones of gray, sometimes mixing it with either a cooler hue or a warmer hue, depending on the temperature or the time of the day of the image. I feel that by mixing colors, you get a better quality of shadows, and sometimes when you just pack on black straight up on your shadows, it makes your image look flat and unnatural, so I always try to mix colors when I'm doing my shadows. I also find that with pastels, the subtractive technique works best for detailing, and that's just my personal opinion. I do think that it's easier to erase out spots or blocks of color by going over on top of it another color. Kind of like you're drawing in reverse, if that makes sense. So at first you'll have your big blobs of white clouds, but as you pack in the shadows and depth, you can carve away the shape of your cloud by using the blue pastel to erase some of that white. And here towards the end, I'm just adding some finishing touches using my darkest pencil. I find that with pastels, it's quite hard to get super fine details unless you sharpen your pastels, or you use a paintbrush, a detail brush, and an oil medium. But if you're just doing basic outlining, I think a sharp pencil or color pencil should do the trick. And that's it. Here's the final piece. This drawing took me about an hour to complete from start to finish. I hope you guys enjoyed this mini review / pastel tutorial. If you want to see more videos like this, please like and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to see more of my art, follow me on Instagram at marcelcow_art.